Hello everybody, Keith Doherty here, and welcome to week number 1 of the Master Book Publisher Workshop. We got a really exciting game plan that we're going to map out here for the entire 6 weeks that we're together. We're going to get started here in just a minute. Let's make sure everything is working, that all is working properly. Can everybody hear me? And for some people, it'd be good morning, good evening. Obviously, Bruce is in Thailand. It's 11 p.m. there. Welcome, Anne. Let's see, 11 a.m. Ann, what time are you at? Let's flip this. 5 p.m. Okay, not so bad there. And what time? Let's see. Let's make sure this is working right. Excellent. All right. Is it Sahid? Am I saying that right? Hopefully. Sometimes my pronunciation might. Is it Sahid? I'm right. Cool. Like being right. Right is always good. Okay, so Sahid, good afternoon. So I guess it's afternoon, 4 p.m. there with Sahid. Cool. So, and that's the cool thing about having people from all around the world. We have all different time zones. So we're going to dive right in here. I don't waste anybody's time because, like we said, it is different things. So we're gonna get in here. Let me go ahead and bring the blueprint up and make sure you guys can all see that. Can everybody see the Master Book Publisher blueprint? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, cool. Hey, David, welcome. And awesome. All right, so what we're going to do, obviously, as we talked about before in the presentation, we're going to talk about getting started today, and we're going to dig down into some really cool stuff today. I'm going to show you guys kind of a broad overview of everything. I'm going to show you some market research, and it's going to really get your juices flowing and excited at what you can do. And then obviously, as we walk through the other weeks, we're going to learn how to publish these different types of books so they're positioned specifically for that intent, obviously with the list building, the expert status, passive, short stories, and then I'm going to show you how to multiply things in week 6. All right, so let's hide these down so we don't get all confused. And we're going to jump in here on week 1. So getting started. Now, obviously, the first thing you're going to need to do is determine the purpose of your book. And as we just talked about with the different areas, you got to figure out what is your book, what's the main intent of our book going to be? Is it going to be personal branding? And that kind of goes in the expert status mode. Am I just trying to establish myself as an expert in any industry? And that's the really cool thing with book publishing is you can pick a niche today. I don't even care if you don't know anything about it. You could pick a niche today, and within no time at all, at a minimum, within 7 to 10 days, you could have a book up in that niche. I mean, you could have a Kindle book up there today and literally having people, and it'll show up on Amazon within a few days. And that's the power of this. So you have to determine, what's the purpose? Do I want to brand myself personally? And a lot of times people will do that so that they can sell other products in the market. They'll personally brand themselves so that they can establish their authority. And I know Anne's on the call. Anne does this. Anne will use a book once she gets people to a fan page, and then she allows them to have a copy of her book, and her book will direct them to take other action and buy other products. So it's a really cool way to do it. Business branding. Now, obviously, when it comes to business branding, it's all about branding your business. If you don't want to personally brand your name, you can brand a business name. You can brand other people's businesses. This is another huge thing that not only can you personally brand yourself and personally brand your business per se, you can do the same service for other people. So just think about people in your local community, other business owners, other salespeople. This really works great with salespeople. You can go to salespeople and say, do you want to stand out above your competition? There's tons of salespeople out there that sell whatever. It doesn't even matter what they sell. How can they stand out above the crowd? And that's how I do it. I use my book. So any salesperson, any business owner can use the same philosophy, and you can implement this for them. So not only can you generate revenue potentially from your own books, you could do the same process for other people and get paid to do that as well. So there's personal, there's business, obviously list building. We all talk about, or we all hear that everybody says, the big gurus that are out there, the money's in the list, the money's in the list. Well, yes, you know what, that's kind of true. The money kind of is in the list, and it's great to have a list. Essentially, you have to you have to do it the right way. And it's so hard to break into very competitive niches, especially with list building. I mean, there's paid ways to do it. You can go out and buy pay-per-click. You can do Facebook ads and things like that. But you really have to know what you're doing. You can lose a lot of money. Versus with this methodology, you can break into massive markets by publishing an actual book and then driving that traffic over to an opt-in page and offering other relevant information. So it's very effective. Another purpose of your book might just say, you know what, I want to just make passive income. I want to get book royalties. I want to get paid every month for doing something once, and I want to continue to get paid. And that's one of the really great powers of publishing a book, not only a physical book, but an actual Kindle book in its own right. And I'm sure anybody here is not going to complain that getting paid over and over again after doing something one time is certainly a great thing to do. And obviously someone else, I dropped this in there, this kind of goes hand in hand with everything else. You can do all these same things for somebody else, okay? So everything I'm going to teach you to do for yourself, you can employ these same methodologies and you can sell your services to somebody else for everything we're going to talk about. If they want personal branding, if they want business branding, if they want to do list building, if they want to do passive income, it doesn't matter if they just because. Remember we talked about on the presentation, it might just because. I have this story, I've had it my whole life, just like my 93-year-old client. I've had the story, I've had it my whole life, I just want to tell everybody about it. Okay, and you can do that and you can use your services and your knowledge to help somebody else achieve what they want to achieve. All right, so let's take a look at, now this is where it gets a little bit fun, and this is my market research section. And really what this is meant to do is kind of open your eyes to all the different things that are out there and the different things that you can look at. Okay, so with market research, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at what's actually working out there right now. So what I do, if I don't have any ideas specifically, if I just wanted to start out fresh, and I just wanted to say, you know, I want to see what's going on. I want to get a pulse for the market. What I could do then is I could just do a basic, you know, I'm just going to start digging in and seeing what the market's going to tell me about what's going on out there. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to jump over to Amazon. We're going to look at books. We're going to go into advanced search, and we're going to type in some titles of best-selling series. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. And it gives you, it gets your kind of creative juices flowing. It lets you see what's going on and everything like that. Okay, so let's go over here to Amazon. And what I normally start with is you can come in here and you can do searches. You can shop by department. Basically, we just want to go over to books. So I click shop by department. We click books. And once I'm in the actual book category, I just go with books in general. And what we can do is we can click advanced search. So we can click advanced search. Now this is really powerful. A lot of people don't use this. A lot of people will, let me go back a step here. A lot of people will just look at all the categories over here, which it's totally fine to do that. You can just look at the categories. You know, these are all sub-niches, and then once you click on those are even deeper sub-niches. So you can really do a broad overview of niches if you were interested in digging down. So that's one way to do it. So let's say, you know, for whatever reason we were interested in self-help. So we could click on self-help and we could start to see, okay, these are new. What I like to do then in this area is I click on bestsellers, because what this is going to tell me is, let's look at all the Amazon bestsellers and then let's go to our category. So now if we go down to self-help, we're going to see what are the best-selling books inside of self-help. And the number one bestseller in the overall category right now is called Quiet, the Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. So that's the bestseller overall. Now, the cool thing with Amazon is you can continue to drill down into sub-niches. Let's say your self-help book was more about stress management, you know, how to deal with stress, how to just relax and things like that. So you could click there, and that's going to tell you, okay, here's actually the number one book inside of stress management. Then what we could do there is actually look at the book itself. So we click on that, Who Moved My Cheese? An amazing way to deal with change in your work and in your life. So on first hands, you know, nothing really stands out. It's obviously it's written by a doctor. What I like to try to do now is kind of analyze real quick, where are we from a sales standpoint? So if we come down here, and you're going to see as we scroll down, you get all this information about the book, and you're going to see that here's the product details. And what we want to look at is right here, it says Amazon bestsellers rank. So it's ranked number 915. And what does that mean? What does that really mean? So what I've done, based upon all of my knowledge and my training and other courses and everything I've compiled and put together, I have a basic chart that I go by that gives me a rough idea on what I'm looking at when it comes to seller rank. And I'm going to show you that sales rank right here. So this is a basic chart, and then you guys will get this when you get the blueprint. So that one, it told us that the seller's rank was 900 and something, I forget. But it's basically in this range right here, 750 to 3,000. That means that book is probably selling anywhere from 21 to 75 copies a week. Not too bad, right? I mean, if we go back and look at the price of the book, I think it was $13.57. So they're probably, from a royalty standpoint, this isn't Amazon. This looks like a physical book, but they're probably, I think they're through, let's see if they're through a book publisher. Yeah, P. Putnam's and Sons. So they're actually through a publishing company. So I don't know how much the author's actually making, but let's say at a minimum they're selling 21 copies. So, you know, 21 times 1357. So overall, this book is generating about $285 in gross sales a week. Okay, that's not bad. That's what, times 4 is about $1,100 a month. Now that's not actual royalties in net. Not too bad though, and that's on the low end. That's on the conservative end. We could say, okay, that's not bad. From a royalty standpoint to us, this might generate a couple $100. So that just gives us a general idea. Okay, this is just, and we make note of this. So we just document that, and if we wanted to go into this category, okay? Now what I like to do, so that's what I call drilling down into a niche. Now another cool way to find out, let's say we don't actually have, a niche in mind. Let's say we want to do basic research and just kind of find out maybe what could be hot. What kind of information products, right? We're in the information marketplace. What kind of information products might be hot right now that we could sell? What are people looking for? And a really cool way to uncover that is if we go into advanced search, and this gives us a way to type in many different things. We can do keywords, we can look at authors, titles. The cool thing with this is it lets you sort it by relevance, or it lets you sort by different things. And what I'll do here is I'll sort it by best-selling. And the other thing is here, now what I like to do a lot of times is there's companies out there which we call topical publishing companies. They publish books on common topics that everybody's looking for, and one of those series is the Dummies books, right? Where you like Golf on Dummies or WordPress for Dummies or things like that. So if we type in the title box, we want the title box to say for dummies. So I put quotes around that. What this is going to do is it's going to allow me to return any book that has for dummies in the title, and it's going to rank it by bestsellers. So it's going to allow me to see what kind of information is the for dummies book selling the most of. What is their best-selling book? So I'm going to click search, and basically there's almost 16,000 results, and the #1 book that's actually showing up is A Little Bit of Everything for Dummies, which is kind of a weird title. And I mean, think about it. A little bit of everything. It's not even, what is it about? That's a little bit weird. But here's what we can do to make this drill down a little bit deeper. If we actually click on the book and we scroll down here, what we want to do is we want to see who the publisher actually is. So now we know the actual book publisher is right here, For Dummies. So now we know that. So what we could do now is we can go back into our advanced search. We could still leave the dummies thing in the title. We could drop the publisher in here now, which was For Dummies. We could sort it by bestsellers. And we click search. Now we know we have all the books that are specifically published by the For Dummy production company, the actual publishing company, and they're sorted by bestseller rank. So this one's still coming up number one, a little bit of everything for dummies. So if we were to actually look at this, you know, and these will give you ideas too. You could look at these and say, you know what, I know how to use Windows 8. I could write a book about Windows 8, or I know how to use a Kindle, or I know how to play the harmonica or the ukulele. I mean, think of who would, ukulele for dummies? But just for kicks, let's look at this, because, I mean, really? People are going to buy a book, Ukulele for Dummies. Let's look at the sales rank and see if people are actually buying this. So here's our sales rank, Amazon bestsellers rank, 1,456. So let's go back to our chart, 1,450. So this thing is still selling 21 to 75 copies a week. How many people would like to just sell a book and sell 20 copies a week? Do you think that would create it just for one book? Would like to sell 20 copies a week? That's 80 copies a month. That's still going to generate some pretty decent passive income, because this is still, it's ranked right now. It's generating 20 copies a week, and it's been out there since 2011. So this book has been out there well over a year, and it's still generating revenue for this company after they published it well over almost a year and a half ago. So that shows you the power of taking a look at this. And Ann says, I want a ukulele for Christmas then, right? I mean, look at some of these topics. If you don't think you can if you really come into this with, I don't know what to write on, look at some of these topics. Photoshop, if you know Photoshop. Sushi, iPhone 5. Maybe you know how to use that. ASVAB, this is a standardized test here in the United States for a vocational test for getting in the military. Canon EOS Rebel, maybe you know how to use a digital camera. iPad, okay? These are all, this just gives me ideas. Banjo, Nexus 7, this is a program, Windows 8. Here's the Nikon D5100, another Kindle Fire, another Windows. Now here's a sub niche, look at this. Windows 8 for seniors. So not even just Windows 8, they're targeting the baby boomer market. Pretty smart on their part. Let's see how they're doing. So we click on it. Let's go down and see what their rank is. All right, so they're 2,594, so not quite as good as the other ones. So now if we go back over to our chart, 2,500, they're still in that range of selling probably 21, probably closer to the 21 than the 75 mark. So they're still selling about 20 copies a week of Windows 8 for seniors for dummies. So that's really sub-niche down. You guys think that's real? I mean, that's really specific. You got the product, and then you got to drill down specifically to your market. 20 copies a week. Let's see what else, just for kicks. Let's see if anything else jumps out. Raising chickens. Are you kidding me? How many people want to raise chickens? Apparently somebody does. Now look at this. This book has been out there since 2009. So this thing has been out there for 3 years. Let's see what the rank is for a book that was published 3 years ago. Look at that, 3,800. So let's look at our chart, 3,800. This thing is still, it's probably selling it's probably selling closer to the 20 because it's on the low end. It's probably selling a good 10 to 15 copies a week. It's been out there for 3 years. So each and every month it just 15 copies, 12 copies, 14 copies. You guys see the pattern here of what happens and the power of pushing these books out? And really, you guys can see topics that are really pretty crazy here. Raising chickens. I mean, you know, you can see iPhone 4S for seniors. Here's a Nikon. Here's the camera. So obviously it looks like digital camera, those kind of books. Windows 7, iPad for seniors is pretty hot. Football, right? A common thing. Football for dummies. Just for kicks, let's look at the sales rank. 3,900. So that's probably selling 10 to 15 copies a week. Are you guys seeing the power of doing this research and kind of seeing and this is just one topical publisher, right? This was just looking at the dummies because we know that these books are popular. A lot of people buy these books, and this is just, I want to show you guys, and that's what today was all about, just different ways to expand your horizon to look at, hey, you know what, I don't even know what I want to do, I don't even know what topic. This is ways to come up with really creative ways to come up with a book that you can, just like Bruce said, work once, paid for years. I mean, that book was out there for 3 years and it's still selling probably close to 70, 80 copies a month. That's pretty good royalties for having to do nothing for 3 years. All right. So that's what I call kind of the topical publisher drilling down. Now, over here on the blueprint, I give you a topical book publishers. I give you other ideas. This is just the dummies line because we know that that's popular. They publish topics. There's other ones out there like the Complete Idiot's Guide to whatever. So we could do the same thing for that. We could take the Complete Idiot's Guide and we could copy that phrase. I could go back over here to Amazon, go into advanced search. In my title, I could put that in there. Complete Idiot's Guide to, sort it by bestsellers, and click search. And we're going to see anything that has that in the title. So the Complete Idiot's Guide to Plant-Based Nutrition. That's what their #1 book is. So let's make sure let's find out who the actual publisher is. So we come down here, remember, and the actual publisher is called Alpha. So we could grab the word alpha here, or we could just type it in. So we could go back to advanced search. We could have the Complete Idiot's Guide, and the publisher could be Alpha. Now we know we're only going to get books that are specifically targeted from the publisher Alpha, and they're going to be Complete Idiot's Guide to. We're going to click search. So their #1 book right now, it's showing as plant-based nutrition. So it sounds like it might be a vegan type book. Geocaching. You know, the Complete Idiot's Guide to Music. Fermenting foods. Cigars. Right? A whole book on the Complete Idiot's Guide to Cigars. Let's just for kicks. This has been out there since 2007. 2007, 5 years ago this was published. And it sells about, well, 10,000. So it's not moving that many. If we go over to our chart, 9,000, it's probably selling 1 to 5 copies a week, probably, you know, 4 to 5 a week. Still not bad. It's probably still doing, you know, anywhere from 16 to 20 a month. Not bad for being out there for 5 years, right? You published something 5 years ago, you're still getting paid. But this is just a way to research and to give you ideas. Like this plant-based nutrition. Let's see where this rank is. You know, this is at 4,700. So if we go over here, 4,700, that's probably selling anywhere. You're probably 15 to 20 copies a week. So you guys are seeing the power here and the ability to come up with ideas. And like I said, today was all about letting you get a foundation for the class and showing you different ways that you can research these different kinds of books and these different, if you can drill down into a niche, like I said, and do the same thing. But what these topical companies allow you to do is they publish topical information type publishing that we're used to. So that's why I gave you these other things, you know, like How to Do Everything. McGraw-Hill publishes that. Step-by-step guides, Microsoft puts those out. So if you're technically savvy with Microsoft products, you could potentially do something there. Pocket reference guides by O'Reilly Media. The Everything Whatever book. This is by Adams Media. These are just other topical, and you guys could probably think of other ones that are out there as well, but it gives you a baseline to start to just like, okay, what's out there? What can I do? What are the different kind of things? It gives you a way to see what kind of topics are pretty hot. Okay, so that's what we look at, bestsellers. Now, from a sales rank standpoint, there is a site out there called TitleZ.com. This is a really cool site, and I would show you how cool it is if it was working today. But last time I checked, the problem with this site is it's free, and you can register for a free account. But they're always updating it. Apparently, I'm gonna type in my right email address here, and we'll get in there possibly. Okay. If I could type right, let's try it again. So this is a free site, but like I said, Amazon is always updating their information, and so a lot of times their site won't be working right. just because they haven't. So what you could do here, remember how we had the publisher, and we knew the publisher was For Dummies, I think, was the publisher. If we do this, this would give us all the books listed right in front of us, but I believe the site's going to tell us, yeah, see, the system's unavailable. What normally would happen, this is going to give us a sheet and show us how cool it is. It's going to list all those book titles, and it's going to have them ranked, and we're going to see all the data right here. So it's cool. But like I said, it's a free system, so I don't know how much resources they have to keep it updated. It's in beta. Maybe once they actually get it working efficiently, they may sell, access to it. But once it's up, it's actually pretty effective. So I'm going to give you that as a resource, but just keep in mind that obviously they're up and down all the time. All right, let's go back over here. So we talked about the bestsellers. We talked about the sales rank. Now, another thing we can do when we're getting started and we're doing market research is we can leverage content. And we can basically spy on other books. Now, a lot of you are probably familiar with this, but I want to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about. When we have a book, you get the logo on top that says click to look inside. So here's a book that I had found earlier, a little bit about everything. You guys saw that was like the #1 book. So if we actually go back to Amazon, and let me a little bit about everything. Let's just find the book and we'll take a look at it. So this is a really cool feature that they have, that you can click to look inside. And what you can do with this is, if you wanted to write a book about this, you can dig into you can actually get in here, and a lot of times they're going to show you the table of contents. Now this thing, basically, so this is basically, they took what they did, and now I see what they did here. They basically took chapters from all their other books. Like they had books on Windows and sex and French and meditation and wine. So they grabbed a chapter out of all their, it's actually pretty smart. All these other books were written, and they just grabbed it looks like they grabbed a chapter or chapters from these other books and compiled it into one book. So they really just reformatted their content and stuffed a bunch of different stuff in there. It was actually pretty smart on their part, because they created a brand new book that's obviously selling well, and the content was already written previously. All right, so let's see if we can, a lot of times right here, this is the cool thing, it shows us the table of contents. So basically in this book, they're telling us, okay, chapter 1, they're going to talk about DOS, which is an old disk operating system. It's a computer-based language. Connecting computers with a network. So chapter 3 is about going out on the town, avoiding sexual relationship pitfalls, daily dose of dummies. So now you got healthy attitudes, you got meditation, leadership development. So it's showing you all the different, so this is a way that you can make notes. Now, for this kind of book, it's probably not as effective as if we were looking more like, let's say, a football for dummies book, right? Because that's, well, if I could spell it right, but we still got it. So if we actually looked at this one and we wanted to write a book about football, it's going to tell us, what are they talking about? What's their table of contents showing, so I know I should probably include that information in mine. So basically here, we know Football 101, so they're going to talk about that. So they're giving a basic overview of the game. Now they're going to talk about offense. Okay, so they're basically talking about the quarterback. So now I understand, I'd have to lay this out. I'm going to want to give a broad overview. I'm going to want and you can make notes of these. Okay, I'm going to talk about the offense. They're specifically talking about the positions. Bruce, that's funny. Then they're going to talk about defense, and then they're going to talk about different players, the special teams. And then they're going to talk about basics. So you could actually stop right there. That's basically core football. An overview, offense, defense, special teams. That is what makes up football. But the rest of this stuff is, they just added a whole bunch of other things in here that to me really probably wouldn't be as relevant as, if I really want to know about football, I want to know about, here's what it is. Here's the offense, here's the defense, and here's the special teams, the other things that make the team work in the game, it's how it's played. So I could make notes on that. So that would be helpful to me to be able to look at that and make my own outline. So all I could do is I could bring up a simple text pad, and I would know, I could look at these notes right here, and I could basically, look at, probably at chapter 1, and I'd have to do a basic overview. And there I could talk about the history of the game, and then I could go into like chapter 2, and I would talk about offense. And specifically, I would want to talk about positions. And there I may want to just make a note of if I want to make the note of the, quarterbacks. And then it looks like they're talking about, running backs. And they're probably talking about receivers, and then the offensive line. So basically, I'm making an outline here, and I'm just taking notes on these, and I can go through many different books. I could look for other football books. I could look for many different things, and I could just document all these things down, and I could continue to just make notes. I'm not writing anything yet. So then defense, I could do the same thing and make notes. Talk about the positions there. What are they doing? What's their responsibility? And then we could, chapter 4 could be, special teams, which is kind of the rest of everybody else. And I know my spelling is always atrocious for you guys. And basically there we could do the same thing where we talk about position. So I'm just making notes now. I haven't written anything. I'm just kind of going through and say, okay, that's pretty good. That's what I need to know. So what I could do if I wanted to write a book about football, I could search for other football books. Let's see, maybe there's a Complete Idiot's Guide. Maybe there's some ideas in there I didn't think about. So then what I could do, so basically we could spy on other books, and that's what we basically just did right there. We looked at a book, we looked at the table of contents, and we flipped through it. Now another thing we can do is we can look at customer reviews. What's good and what's bad? Because what people are telling us by their reviews, they're basically telling us, I really like the book because of this, which is good, right? We want that information. And what's bad, like somebody will say, I really wish they would have talked more about how the quarterback runs the offense. And that's an idea. So that tells you people are interested in that, and the book didn't reach out and cover that angle. So what we can do here, this has got 4 stars, so it's pretty good, but we can see there's 8 people that gave it a 1 star. So this is going to tell us, okay, we got good stuff and we got bad stuff. So if we look at the customer reviews here, we can go down here and, here's what they said, not bad, but pretty confusing. I'm English, my girlfriend is American, and mad about football. I know absolutely nothing about football, so I thought better to find out. The book started off very promising, outlining the basics, what it is, the field looks like, that kind of stuff. Then it went into rules and positions, and so now we could read the full review. So here's everything he's telling you. I got lost, and there was way too much information, and basically, so he told you where he got lost. He said it was really great about telling you all this stuff, so you'd want to include this. They told you about what it is, what the field looks like, what the players wear. I wouldn't have probably thought of that, right? Those are all good, relevant notes, and somebody told us that it's really good. So over here, I'd make some notes, and I could decide what chapter would I talk about. And I could even add that to my offense. The positions are going to be talked about, and then I could even put in, equipment. What they wear, and we could do that for each of these because defensive has equipment and these guys have equipment, and we could do it in the general overview. Up here we could say basically, all football players, we could talk about the helmet, we could talk about the shoulder pads, basic equipment that we know that they wear for safety. So we could just talk about that here, or we could talk about it specifically in the area, and that's good. Another thing he mentioned that was positive was the football field. Explaining what it is. I honestly would have probably overlooked that. So he said all that was really helpful. Then he went into the rules and positions. So rules are probably going to be important. What are the rules? And we could talk about an overview, or we could throw the rules into each category. There's different rules for offense. They have so long. There's different rules for defense, penalties, things like that. So we could break them down inside the areas. Now right here he says, once they went in the rules and the positions, then he got lost. So we'd have to try to find a way to simplify. I'd almost want to take this whole thing and copy it and make a note of it in my text document, because there's such good information there. I could simply come down here to the bottom and I could drop it in there. And then I could just, put some lines in here to divide it from the rest of my content, because that's all really helpful. As I'm putting this book together, I'm going to want to make sure I cover all that information, and I want to try to clarify as much as I can. So I just make a note there. I'd grab that one. It's got really good relevant information. Okay. Same thing here. We could go back and let's look at, now he says not bad, but he was confused. So we could go back and see, let's look at these other 8. Let's see what people are really crying about. And is there a common thing? does this have an editor? So obviously somebody's here, it's badly written. I wonder if they even proofread it. Pretty technical stuff. So, they're just kind of bashing the book. It's geared towards people who are learning more about NFL, college, and even high school with an eye towards the future. Poorly written for beginners and degrading to women. Okay, obviously a woman bought it and she found it degrading. These are all very helpful. We want to make sure we don't make the same mistake. They bought the book. They had an interest in the topic, but they were insulted. Right here, not for the novice. So it wasn't simple enough. Badly written, it was disorganized. And to me, it was way too many pages. I could sit down and explain football to somebody in probably under 100 pages and do it in an efficient way. If you know nothing, don't buy this book, right? They're telling you right now this is not for beginners. So these people are all, the people that didn't like this book sounded like these were all beginners. They didn't understand the game, and the book wasn't simple enough for them to understand. Now, right here, you could capture this. Now, don't get me wrong. I love football. I bought this because I want to know more. Perhaps the reason I hate this book because I bought it on flipping around is difficult. If you read from page 1 on, you will see that Howie doesn't start from the basics. So he didn't explain things from a clear point of view. Yeah, and you're right. Ann says the title's for dummies. So you're going to assume, at least I would, if I bought a book for dummies, that means I know nothing, basically. Assume I know nothing and teach me something. So that's very important. Obviously, they missed the mark here. Horribly organized. Are you guys getting the theory here? Do not buy the book. Bad organization, badly written, not organized, doesn't flow. Major top 10 list gaffe. Okay, I had to be one of those who, how could you make a top 10 list of and not include? But in this book, there's a list of the top 10 coaches in history. The one and only coach who wins 4 no losses didn't make you pretty much. All right, so he's just crying about one person that didn't make a list. That's not a big deal. Howie Long is a jerk, so obviously somebody really doesn't like Howie, who played in the NFL, knows so little about football. It goes to show how a dunderhead did a lot of steroids. Okay, so obviously that's not going to help you too much, but all these other ones are helpful because they told you, so this book really wasn't for beginners. Now if we go back up to our reviews, you can still look at, there was a couple 3 stars, so they're kind of on the fence. Like this guy here was not bad but confusing. Football for an avid dummy. A little too technical in some areas. See, too much information. Football slightly less than dummies. Truth in advertising on the offer. So this guy he's trying to pitch his own book here. So I know what it's like to write a football. It ain't easy. Okay. Not as good as I hoped for. In fact, dangerous. Teach a football player to put his head down. All right. So this person obviously found an issue with people telling, put your head down. It sounded like they're teaching the game too much versus an overview of the game, which is good. This is all helpful. Didn't really say anything. Hey, Buckethead, you may have been a real good defender, but you failed CFL football. All right. So people are basically just, and this is all going to help us. The other thing we can do, obviously, look at the 5-star reviews. Look at what people really liked because you want to make sure you have that. The only thing I knew about football was watching on TV. I picked up enough information to enjoy the game, but occasionally I got perplexed by okay, so, by their remarks. So somebody's watching the game, they didn't understand. So they read the book. I learned a lot more, but still felt unfulfilled. Then I broke down and bought another book, the dummies version, and got exactly what I wanted. So basically, this is what, and there's no category for that. And saying, where do you look for bestsellers in internet marketing? There really isn't you can type it in and try to rank them by bestsellers. What you could do there, and I'll show you in a second, I have an idea. But basically what you can do with the good rankings is look at what people loved about the book and looked at what people hated about the book. And then over here in our notes, make notes of that. Build out different things that we can talk about. Make sure you want to cover the things simple. I mean, these people, it really sounded like the overall premise is make the book stupid simple. Really, to me, that's how I could summarize everything. It sounded like they really went too complex with this versus, okay, here's what football's about, right? You have offense, you have defense. It's played on a 100-yard football field. There's 4 quarters. Each quarter is 15 minutes. Right? It's simple little things. They have to move the ball 10 yards to get a first down. So you teach people the basics, and you could do a phenomenal job with this book. Okay, now Ann's question is, how do we find bestsellers in internet marketing? What we could do is click on advanced search. we could type in the keywords. We could put internet marketing for our keyword, and then we could type sort by best selling. So then we could click search. So these are books that are going to be related to, that have been tagged with internet marketing. So Worldwide Rave, Creating Triggers That Get Millions of People to Spread Your Ideas and Share Stories by David Meerman Scott. Okay, so that would be a book that you could see that's a best-selling book. And you could basically, you could click to see, does he have any other books? See, same thing. We could dig down into this one. What's the book about? What's the seller's rank? Is he even selling anything? Okay, this guy's seller's rank is 1,083. But here's the problem. His seller's rank is 1,083 free in the Kindle store. Okay? Right now the book is free. So he's obviously giving it away. So that's going to increase his rank and all that, but right now he's not making any money with the book because it's basically a free book right now. So this isn't one I'd want to look at because he's doing his promotion right now. And that's probably why it's ranked up here, why it's listed. We could go down and check other ones out that are related to internet marketing. I'm not sure how Maggie Mouse gets lost. Got into the internet marketing. Here's one of my buddies here, Mario Brown. You could see how well is Mario doing. Is he actually selling copies of the book? And we could come down here and he's ranked at 39,000. Okay, so and it's paid, but it's 39,000. So if we go back to our chart and the sales rank, he's lucky if he's selling one a week. So he's probably not even doing that. He's probably selling 1 to 2 a month, right? So a lot of times, then that's what this research is going to help us, do. Do you really need a job? Your Customer Creation Equation, by Brian Massey. So we could come down here and see, what's his rank. So he's 271,000 paid in the Kindle store. Probably not moving that many copies. Now, we did that when we typed in the advanced search. We typed in, in the keywords. You could try to put it in the title, like if we wanted to say internet marketing in the title, or you may just want to go for marketing, because you don't have to say internet marketing. You could look at market. What are the best marketing books? It's still relevant, and then we could do search on internet marketing in the title. So here's Pinterest. So we know Pinterest is hot. So if we click on that, we're going to go down and see, are they selling copies? 32,000 paid in the Kindle store, so they're selling 1 to 4 copies a week. Not a lot. Not a lot of traction there. All right, so that shows you how you can basically step outside and you can dig in and search many different things and look at that. Sandra, you can look at those. Sandra says, so we don't look at those example not rated high enough, or is just because of the where they're marked. Basically, what it's telling us is, based upon this content, that people just aren't buying these kind of books, and they're not that popular. Even though we know Pinterest is popular, for some reason, these guys just aren't selling. It's $6 on Kindle. The rank isn't there. They're not getting traction. These are sorted by, and we looked for books that were specific to internet marketing. Let me see something down here. Let's look at the category. So the categories are business, investing, marketing, web marketing. So we could look specifically at, hey, let's look at books that are based upon web marketing versus internet marketing. Bestsellers in web marketing. This is going to give us a better idea. So let's look at this book and see if this makes any difference. Did I go past it? Yeah, they don't even have any numbers on that one. Let's look at this one. So this one is 3,300 in books. Okay, so people, apparently on Amazon, people aren't using internet marketing. They're using other terminology like web marketing. So we need to learn the terminology. So if it's selling 3,300, they're probably in the range of selling close to 20 copies a week. So this one, yes. This one would probably be pretty good to look at. The cool thing with this one is we can look inside the handmade marketplace, how to sell your crafts locally, globally, and online. So it's a web marketing book, but she niched it down. She niched it down to where she's telling you, basically she went after the crafting market, but as a, teaching you web technologies. And we could look inside to say, okay, what is she teaching? Are you serious? This seems a little weird. But here you go, getting to know yourself, or setting the scene. setting goals, building and nurturing. So she's telling you how to set up the business, branding, establishing your basic practices. What business are you? The next steps, collecting money, real basic stuff. But she's teaching you how to set up your business. Here's more, marketing basics, your crafting community, blogging, advertising, how to do it online, that kind of stuff, podcasting. So you see all the stuff that people bought, and we could do the same thing with this one. She's got 79 reviews, so she's got a ton of reviews. No 1 stars, a few 3 and 2. So we could look at them and see, just like we did before, what are people crying about? What is the issue? What is that? But what she did is she took marketing and she put it into a niche. Yeah, and it's a pretty good sized book. It's, I think Sandra's saying it's about 200 pages. And the cool thing, like I did there with that, is internet marketing wasn't working for us. So what we did is we looked down at the category these books were in, and we found that, like, the new rules of marketing PR. Let's see how many, if this thing is doing pretty good. And this one's like 3,900, so he's probably selling about 20 a week. And right here it tells us categories, so he's number 1 in public relations, he's number 1 in direct marketing, he's number 3 in web marketing. So people aren't saying internet marketing, they're saying web marketing. So, and direct marketing, public relations. So that gives, so this guy's selling about 20 copies a week, so 80 copies a month. So he's doing pretty good. It's $11.97 too, so he's doing probably pretty good with this altogether. Okay, let's go back over here. So that's basically the spy on other books. How to pick books out, how to use the advanced search, how to look and dig deeper into the reviews, how to make notes, how to set things up, and all that kind of stuff. So that's spying. That's good. Now here's a cool way to dig even deeper. So a lot of people might just stop there, and you probably could. You guys saw just what we found, all this information for football. If I wanted to do a book, I got a pretty good idea at this point what people are looking for. They want a simple book on the basics. They really do, and they like these. I think people got lost past this, so they basically wanted, the overview, the offense, the defense, special teams, a complete wrap-up. That's good. Everybody's happy. We got some negative reviews. We could probably stop there and write a good book, or have a book compiled. You could easily outsource this too. If you even didn't want to write it, you could send out these sections to people, and we're going to talk about that more later. But basically, we could stop there. But if we really want to dig deeper, here's a cool way that you can dig deeper. A lot of people don't realize you can do this, and it's really neat. You could do a Google search, and I'm going to show you different ways to do these. So that book earlier that I was just looking at a little bit earlier, like a little bit of everything. Remember that book, A Little Bit of Everything for Dummies? You guys are going to get this in the blueprint, but if we put this phrase, we actually put quotes around review of Little Bit of Everything for Dummies, and then we put minus IN URL. It means give me every other site out there that's not Amazon.com. We want to see what are people publishing all around the internet that are talking about this book. So if we actually wanted to keep in line with our football methodology, let me drop this in, and review of, let's change this to football for dummies and see if we can find anything. So what it's basically telling us is, go out to the internet, give me anything that says review of football for dummies, and the minus URL means give me anything that doesn't have Amazon.com in it. So we don't want to look at we looked at the Amazon stuff on Amazon. I don't want that stuff in my search results. So now we can go out, and right here, here's Beth from Goodreads review. Here's Chris from a review. So then we could look at these pages and see, is there any more relevant information? Beth gave it 4 stars. Here's a book review fueled by I love this book because it's easy to understand, humorous at times, and handy reference. I learned a lot leafing through it throughout the last football season. Okay, so there's some relevant information. You could, take note of it. Is it good? Is it bad? Is there anything that I really want to make note of there? Same thing with the rest of these. We can scroll down, see if there's anything else that makes sense. This is weird. A yeast infection home remedy blogspot does a review of football. That's kind of a weird combination. Here's someone chatty but not comprehensive. So this guy gave it a 3 out of 5. So we could basically take a look at it. Okay, what can we find out? It has a nice conversational style, familiarized with great players of the past, especially, but it lacks depth in describing the details of football's rules. Right there, there's a mate. Lacks depth, doesn't explain it to you. That's one of the things. So there's another negative thing we could put in there. And this basically can come down, and now you could try other searches here too. You could put, instead of review of, you could try read the book, or we could try just bought the book. So we could try read the book, and we could do the same thing, and we don't want anything related to Amazon. And it basically allows us to go out and find read the book. Let's delete this and see if anybody posted anything about that. Would read the book, it could have been better. Okay, so that's people complaining. Read Football for Dummies, USA edition. So here's, let's see what this looks like. See if it's got it. And basically, people that take the time to drill down in, all right, so somebody, let's see, that's a snapshot, book information. It doesn't look like there's buy the book, introduction, book review. So we could click on book review. I don't know, I haven't seen this. It's an interesting site. So this basically pulled in the book reviews, it looks like, from out there on the internet, which is cool. It still is a consolidation for us, if we find a good thing, and we could click on it, see if it's relevant, that kind of stuff. So a lot of people don't do this, take the time to actually drill down and dig deeper into, if you just use this phrase, and I'm going to give you guys this phrase, you basically are going to put your review of, and then your book title. And so we'll do that, book title. We'll do it like that so it's easier. Just bought, and we'll put in book title, and read the book, book title. So basically that's all you're going to use, those syntax. And if you put minus in URL colon Amazon.com, like I said, what that does is says ignore any site out there that has this information, but if it's Amazon.com, I don't want to see it. So that's basically what that does with a Google search. Now another place we can do, and a lot of people don't realize this, is we can go to Facebook and we can search the public posts. This is actually a really neat way to dig into other information. If we go over to Facebook and we go to up here where you can type in search, like we could put football, well, we could put it in quotes and put football for dummies. And we could see what comes up, and then what you want to do is, why is my search box is not coming up? Hang on a second. It took me right to the group, that's why. All right. Everything for dummies. All right, here's what we need to do. So when you type in your title, so if we type in our title, football for dummies, and then what you want to do is do see more results, and then over here on the left-hand side, you can do public posts. There's a thing that says public post, and we can say, okay, is anybody out there specifically talking about this book? Football for dummies. And in public posts, it's going to go out and it's going to look and see if it finds anything that's related to it. And you can see if somebody, obviously somebody must have made a comment somewhere in here about football. Public posts is basically people that put public information out there. So if somebody published like on their status update, if they don't protect their posts, it's not all inclusive, but it's just another way to dig and see if there's anybody talking about football, what are they saying? Is it good? Is it bad? Public posts, we can look for football. They talked about, Dallas Cowboys here, bummer, no, and you could see, football book. It basically just gives you a different way to you can search. This is a way to search Facebook for anything. I mean, people that somebody might even be saying, I need a job. It could be a way to do prospecting. And then actually, you got to make sure you do the I need, let's do I need a job. And then we do more, and then we do public posts. And their search isn't that great. A lot of times they're garbled a little bit. They don't let you use the syntax straight up. So a lot of times the results aren't as accurate. I'm putting the quotes around it, but it doesn't seem to be locking it down for some reason. Normally, when you put quotes around things, it locks down the actual phrase, and for some reason, Facebook isn't locking that down anymore. I don't know if they've changed their code. Let's try to do football for dummies. Let's try a different syntax. Yeah, it's taken the words out for some reason. It used to be able to do a string search, and for some reason they're not allowing that anymore. But it's still, this probably, if you want to search for single keywords, obviously the phrase keyword doesn't seem to be working too well right now. And these are recent posts. Somebody just wrote, like Ryan McCart did a public post and he talked about football 4 seconds ago. So you can definitely see, kind of, relevant information real quick that's just been posted on Facebook that's public. So it's just another way to dig into, research, to search Facebook and to kind of look and see if is anybody else talking about it. Is there any more relevant information out there regarding my topic? So, and you can use this, obviously, the Facebook searching for many different things. So that's basically the search public post. And like I said earlier, other topical publishers that I've already kind of given you here is, you could look into, like we said, the Complete Idiot's Guide, how to do everything step by step, pocket referencers, or the everything. And David brought up a good point. If you're doing long-term research and you wanted to, like, what you could do, David, is David says, what about Google Alerts? Google Alerts is that's kind of the old I look at it as an older technology because it's been out there for so long, but a lot of people forget about it. Yes, you can set up a Google alert for a topic. If you're taking time and you want relevant content that's always popping up, then yes, you can set up a Google alert and you could, because it's still the search context. It'd be interesting to try to set up a Google alert for like this. So if you knew if a new review came up, or if somebody just bought the book, or if they read, but yeah, in general, you can essentially you can use Google Alerts as well. So if I was writing a book about football and I wanted to know, football basics or something, I could come up with my keyword, and then you could also do that. And there's other places you can look too, like Google Trends. Shahid just mentioned that. Yes, there's things like that, and that's getting to more advanced stuff. But basically, this is just to kind of give us an overview of a quick, let's check the market pulse. Let's see what's hot. Let's see what kind of books are really out there that people are buying. People buy these informational books all the time, and that's the easiest thing to publish, are informational books. And Shahid, you can use Google Trends to see if there's a market there, but that's only going to show you in the Google's eyes. It's not going to show you on Amazon as a true indicator. If I know there's a book out there that was published 5 years ago and it's still selling 20 copies a week, that's probably a pretty good indicator that there's still a good interest in it, and there may even be more interest in it right now as a new book. It may even gain more leverage and sell more in the beginning, but it's probably going to last years down the road for us. Google Trends is going to tell you more about Google searches and what's hot on Google. Not to say that can't be effective for doing, and we're going to talk about that when we do other books down the road, but essentially that's not going to show you a trend of a book per se. It may show you a trend of a topic. And Fred's asking about iBooks. I haven't, honestly. I actually got an approved publisher account over at iBooks, but I have not put anything over on iBooks as of yet. I haven't done anything, and it's probably a quick and easy way for me to multiply my revenue, but I just haven't put anything over there yet. Sandra, we're not only going to talk about Amazon when we get into these other weeks, these other courses. Today was kind of an overview. I wanted to show you guys how to do some market research, how to dig down and figure out things. Maybe you can't think of a topic or don't know what you want to do. This gives you a way that you can kind of look at things and figure out what's hot, what you may want to approach, and what you may want to go down. Once we go into these other markets, especially week 6, I'm going to show you how to cross-publish, because that's what I do. I'll cross-publish into other platforms. And you guys are going to get this blueprint. So in the members area, you guys are going to have the video, the actual recording of this training, and you'll get this full blueprint. So you'll get all this, so you'll be able to see all that and everything. So yes, we're going to be selling on other platforms, Sandra. Does anybody else have any questions on the content we covered today? On getting started, on the purpose of your books, doing that market research. This is kind of what the core of everything was about. I want to show you guys how you could really open your eyes up to what's going on in the marketplace, a quick and easy way to choose. Like just from going that, and I like football. I watch football. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Based upon what I just saw today, I'm like, man, I honestly might put a book together for football, because I looked at, and just the quick, and I'll dig deeper, but just what we saw on the surface today, you guys saw what I saw. It seems like there's a need there, and it's a basic need. People don't want a 400-page guide. They basically want, hey, that's quick and easy, something like that. Shahid, CreateSpace is not based upon words, it's based upon pages. So to do a physical book, you need 36 pages. But keep in mind, if you were on the presentation, obviously if you came to the class, you saw my presentation, we did that with 4 articles. So we actually, we created that Kindle, or not the Kindle, excuse me, the physical CreateSpace book with only 4 500-word articles. And the rest of it was our title page, our copyright page, our table of contents. We're going to get into that when we actually do the books, but you only need the 36 pages, but you don't need all content. You saw we did that with 4 500-word articles. So from a homework standpoint, I would get comfortable with Amazon. Get comfortable with digging down into markets, getting research, finding out what's hot and all that kind of stuff. It's really going to open your eyes to different things. And you guys are going to get all the blueprints and all that. So when we get to that, you guys will get the book template, which has the title page and all that kind of disclaimer and copyright and all that kind of stuff. Shahid, you got to think about something. Shahid, did you see the webinar I did where I published the book with 4 articles? Yeah, Sandra, this recording and everything is going to be in the members area. So your masterbookpublisher.com, your members area, as soon as I get the video processed, this will be in the members area along with the blueprint and any other resources we talked about. Oh, Shahid, you saw it quickly. On the live webinar, I basically, Sandra, I think you're asking, can the presentation work? The one I did, the actual presentation that I did for the webinar, Sandra, is that what you're asking? I'm sorry, I may have misinterpreted what you said. Yeah, we can add that in for you guys. But you guys aren't going to need that because we're going to go through all that. But the premise was, Shahid, we took 4 articles, and because there were 500 words each, by formatting the title page and by formatting the chapter page and then moving the chapter down in my specific formatting, I was able to turn 4 articles, 4 500-word articles into that 36-page book. Each article, because a book you got to think about is 6 by 9 pages. It's not a regular sized piece of paper. So a regular article on there, 500 words, takes up about 4 or 5 pages. So you can quickly see how things added up. 5 times 5 is 25, and then with all the other pages and the way we added the about the author section and a conclusion section where we had a call to action, we easily had our 36 pages. Don't worry, we're going to get into all that, and I'm going to show you. It makes sense. I know it sounds a little weird, but basically, yeah, 4 500-word articles, which were brand new content, we turned into a book. So you can do it. Now, I did it because I wanted to show you how simple that you could basically go out and have somebody write 4 articles for you and spend like $12 and have a book done in a matter of no time with just, basic content. Kindle is a whole different ballgame. Kindle, you can actually, you could have published one of those articles. Kindle has no restrictions on the size. So if you can get your content message across in 1 or 2 articles, then by all means, and I'm going to show you that when we get up into the further weeks and how we do all that. So does anybody have any questions on week number 1, getting started, the purpose, the market research, any of the topical stuff that we talked about today? And basically the structure of this course is I don't want to, some of these sessions like today with the introduction as we got things going, I try to keep these about 60 minutes because I don't want to overwhelm you guys with way too much. As we get into the other weeks, we're probably going to go more than just 60 minutes. They actually may run 90 to 120, maybe an hour to 2 hours. As we actually start developing these, like next week, we're going to actually do the list building books. So as we do it and we develop these things, these could go. But I try to keep them so they're manageable. I don't want you guys to have like, holy cow, I got like 4 hours of content and just feel overwhelmed. It's try to keep these. I try to give you everything in digestible information so that you can easily understand it and you can go out and implement it. David, no, there's not. Excellent, Anne. Shahid, I'm not sure the total count, but what I may do for you guys is um, I'm probably gonna create a group because we're all gonna be publishing books and things. So I may create a group where we can all collaborate as a group. It's either gonna be a Skype mastermind or I may implement a Facebook group. I haven't decided. I like the Skype masterminds myself, and you could interact with other members and help each other out. I didn't include that with the course, but I think it's a good resource, so we're going to look at adding that on. All right, does anybody else have any other questions for today? All right, Shahid says, yes, I think Skype Mastermind is a good idea. Yes, I think Skype is very effective, and I can implement those pretty quickly, and it gives us all a way to communicate with each other if you want to interact with some of the other members. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. You have a great day as well. All right, cool. So if there's no further questions. Oh, Sandra says I prefer Skype too, and I know Ann and David are on Skype, so excellent. So we'll look at putting that in play. Keep an eye out for the replay, which I should be able to get this thing produced and up to the members area, hopefully by later today. And Norman, thank you. Norman's from Ireland. Welcome, Norman. Yes, Shahid, next week is going to be list building books. So next Thursday at the same time, we're going to cover week 2, which is list building books. And we're going to specifically look at how to compile and put a book together that focuses all around building a list. Okay, it looks like we're good. I don't see any other questions popping in, Shahid. I think that was your final question, so don't know how to use it. Fred, I'll help you out with that. If we do the Skype Mastermind, what will happen in the members area, there'll be a link, and basically all you have to do is click the link, and it'll log you into Skype, and it'll join you to the group. So I try to keep it as easy as possible. Obviously, if you have trouble with that, I'll help you guys get in there. What about Kylie's birthday bash for today? Ann's asking. That goes up at, it's 12 o'clock. So it's already live. Kylie's birthday bash should already be live. Today, what is today? Let me see. Kylie's birthday bash. Let's see if it trips to the day. Yeah, it automatically went to day number 4. So yeah, Kylie's birthday bash is already up. Really cool product. Actually stacked a really neat bonus on that as well. But thank you for asking about that, Ann. There's no mail on it yet, Ann. If you just go to kyliesbirthdaybash.com, it'll forward you to day 4, and you'll see what we have out there for that. Thank you, Shahid. Appreciate that. The link is, put this for anybody that wants it. And Kylie's just been having a ball. I'm trying to figure out how we're going to wrap this thing up at the end of the week, We may, because actually Sunday's her birthday, her actual birthday. So I haven't decided, may do some type of live session or at least do a recording with her because she wants to kind of thank everybody for all the support. So. David, we did. The topical book publishers was the other places to look at. The complete, you can look at the Complete Idiot's Guide, how to do, these are other places in the publisher that you can do those searches on to find out other relevant information that's selling. Yeah, Sandra, that's the actual link, but if you just go to Kylie'sBirthdayBash.com, it'll forward over to day 4 automatically. All right, everybody, thank you so much for coming on board to the Master Book Publisher course. I really love this stuff. I should have put a course out sooner. Been doing this stuff for over 3 years now, and I just love doing book publishing. But I'm glad we finally got this going. I'm glad you guys are in the first group that's out of the box since we brought this new stuff out. So join us again for week 2, which will be next Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Otherwise, keep an eye out for the members area. And you'll actually, the replay and the blueprint, everything will be up in there later today. Sandra, I honestly don't have an exact count to tell you. Anne, you can absolutely do that. Anne's in France, and she said, I'm thinking of doing it in French. What do you think? I think it's a great idea. I think you should do your research on Amazon in France and check it out, and absolutely. And what you could probably do is, I got some other ideas, and I'll talk to you on Skype about those. Oh, and Sandra is in France too. Well, there you go, Sandra and Anne. You guys are hanging out there. She says bonjour, Anne. Sandra, where are you? She's asking. See, we got a little connect. Who would have thought? She's in Antibes. I'm probably saying it wrong. Probably butchered it. Sorry. Near Cannes. Yeah, Antibes. That's how she spelled it, Anne. French Riviera. Anne said, can you give her my email? I can do that, Anne. Let me copy this. All right, let's copy this. And Sandra, here is Anne's email, so take that down and you guys can connect. Cool. Awesome. Anne said she used to live in Cannes. I'm probably saying it wrong. I apologize. So, all right, everybody, cool that you guys are connected there. Sandra, take that email address down. And cool. Excellent. Everybody, if you have any other questions, obviously in the members area, you can use the help desk. Otherwise, bring them to the live training next Thursday. So with that said, everybody, thank you so much again for coming into the Master Book Publisher class. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.